friends. Let's begin. Let's settle in and for anyone joining us for the first time today, just an extra warm welcome to the Spokane Sangha. We are so happy you could practice with us. On Wednesdays, we read from this book, Standing at the Edge by Roshi Joan Halifax, and we're nearly completed. We've been studying this book for 2.5 years easily. And one of the things that she teaches and emphasizes in this book is what is known as the edge state. And the edge state is this place of intellectual, emotional, psychological, even physical growth. It is the place that is most fertile for our maturity, our growth. And so, what happens when we come to an edge state is if we go over the edge, we experience all kinds of distress and all the ways distress manifests in the mind and in the body. On the other hand, if we don't get close enough to the edge, which is often what happens as a reaction to distress. So, for example, we are passionate about something and we get really into it, but then we overdo it and we get burned out, we get confused, we get distressed. And what do we do in reaction to that? We run away from it. We get farther and farther away from it. We actually may even cultivate an aversion. Some people return to habit energy because they're so upended by it. And so we get too far away from that edge state. And what can happen is we can become complacent in our habits, complacent in the way we live our lives, apathetic. So, this is another way of working with the Buddha's idea of the middle way. That edge state is that sweet spot where we're not overindulging, where we're not underindulging, where we're constantly putting ourselves in a place where we can learn and grow. But know that this place is not fixed. There are going to be times where we go over a little, under a little. It's just trying to figure out what is the sweet spot for me. What we've been spending time studying and exploring is compassion, the quality of compassion, not only as a way of expressing and becoming more compassionate, but understanding the conditions that limit and inhibit our compassion as human beings. And so, one of the things that I brought forward, not last week, but the week before, was something called compassion in the Charnel Grounds. In Buddhism, the charnel ground is like a hell realm, and it is not a realm specified for after death. The hell realm can be experienced alive, right now, right here, in this moment, even. And for many people, that charnel ground is addiction. And what Roshi teaches is that sometimes the way to get through the charnel ground is to really be in it, to not run away from it, to not trip over yourselves, but to just pause. And so the last time I shared a story of her visiting a particular mountain in Tibet where they have sky burials. People die, and there are assigned people who will chop up the bodies and toss the parts around for the vultures and eagles and jackals and various other creatures to consume. It is, she described it as even in a frozen place, like a frozen tundra, the smell is overwhelming. It's pretty gross, really, and freaky and scary. And it's all in your face of decay and what death actually looks like. And it's such a stark idea. It's so counter to what we do in the West. We would never really put ourselves in that place. But it's such a powerful and really exquisite teacher of impermanence, and to not be afraid of impermanence. Everything is subject to change. The nature of reality is impermanent, one of the four noble truths. And so to cultivate compassion includes cultivating that awareness of impermanence. And, one of the things that occurred to me today as I was thinking about this and reflecting on the reading that I'm going to share with us today is we have this habit energy. I have a habit energy of treating my my negative habit energy harshly, like it's so bad, and therefore I'm so bad. And now I'm beginning to realize, well, maybe my karma is such that I am in this charnel ground working with it, and maybe I could work with it in such a way that it could be of benefit to others. What a thought. So rather than telling myself I'm so worthless, I'm so clueless, I'm so terrible as a human being, I can say, well, look at that. Maybe this is my karma. Maybe I am here experiencing this because this is the place for me to do my best growth, for me to do my most sustained growth. And maybe it would be of benefit to others. So on that note, let's begin. Standing at the Edge by Roshi Joan Halifax. Roshi writes, my colleague Fleet Mall, who was incarcerated for 14 years on charges of drug trafficking, compares his experience of practicing meditation in prison to practicing in a charnel ground. The prison is a tough practice to environment, he notes, one where greed, hatred, and delusion are the order of the day. Yet this charnel ground proved something to him. In his book Dharma in Hell, Fleet Mall writes, quote, I'm thoroughly convinced after spending 14 years in prison with murderers, rapists, bank robbers, child molesters, tax dodgers, drug dealers, and every sort of criminal imaginable, that the fundamental nature of all human beings is good. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind. Like Fleet, I believe that redemption is possible, and every situation has within it something that can teach us, something that can lead us to our natural wisdom. In many Tibetan mandalas, the outer protective circle depicts 8 cemeteries filled with corpses, scavenging animals, bones, and blood. There's no better place to contemplate the impermanent nature of our lives than a cemetery. This circle serves as a barrier of entry to the fearful and unprepared. It is also a zone in which our meditation practice can flourish. If we find equanimity in the midst of death and decay, then we may become the Buddha at the center of the mandala. This kind of courage, wisdom, and compassion is exemplified by Jizo Bodhisattva, who represents our capacity to maintain balance as we enter the hell realms of the suffering of others and our own suffering. Jizo Bodhisattva promised not to achieve Buddhahood until all hells were emptied. She often appeared to be a simple monk with monk's robes and a shaved head, but sometimes she is in fact female. In her left hand, she holds a wish-fulfilling jewel to light up the darkness. In her right hand, she holds a shakujo, sorry, shakujo, a staff with 6 jingling rings that alert insects and small animals of her approach, so she won't accidentally harm them. This shakujo's 6 rings symbolize 6 realms of existence: the God realm, the jealous God realm, the hungry ghost realm, the hell realm, the animal realm, and the human realm. Jizo is an edge walker, both a bodhisattva and a monk, both male and female. Jizo knocks with her shakujo on the door of hell. When the door opens, she descends into the fiery pit, where she finds herself among a multitude of suffering, tortured beings. Instead of frantically trying to save them, she opens her arms wide, and those who want to be saved jump into the billowing sleeves of her robes. Like Jizo, we can come alongside those who suffer and offer a way for them to be harrowed from hell, a way for them to take refuge in safety and goodness. Even if we suffer, we might be able to offer others or ourselves our compassion, because after all, bodhisattvas do not seek easy situations. Friends, may your minds and hearts be invited to entertain addiction, substance use disorder, habit energy, and recovery and its support as a charnel ground, a hell realm. And may your mind and heart consider the possibility of choice, of choosing this charnel ground, of being connected to it in terms of karma as well, actions, as a means of awakening to the causes and conditions of suffering for yourself and for others. Just like me, people suffer from confusion, attachment, delusion, greed, and maybe through the cultivation of compassion for myself, I will understand those qualities and their accompanying conditions so that my own suffering will be healed, will lessen. And in that transformative place, perhaps just like me, others can experience healing and transformation too. Walking alongside all sentient beings who know discomfort, disappointment, dis-ease, suffering, just like me. with compassionate presence. May we open our arms wide to receive anyone who feels it's time to leave these charnel grounds for something else. May we stay present to anyone with wide open arms who may want to leave but can't. May we stay present with wide open arms to anyone who leaves this charnel ground and returns over and over and over again, including ourselves. May we have the courage to embrace ourselves with compassion and keep going. Stay open to these lessons. Stay open to the wisdom being imparted here. The teaching of the charnel ground is simple and profound. May we stay open, arms wide open, to suffering as it is, to healing as it is, with compassion. Compassion is the key that unlocks Buddha nature, bodhicitta, the soft heart that knows suffering well and knows how to tend to it with impeccable patience, gentle care, total acceptance, true, true love. Friends, as we take a step toward the conclusion of this practice, a mantra of empowerment to carry with you through the charnel grounds, may it act like Jesus' staff, is this very simple mantra, breathing in, I am not okay. Breathing out, I am okay. We can be both. We often are. And when you see someone else suffer, breathe in, breathing in. I see you are not okay. Breathe out, and you are okay. Breathing in, breathing out the wisdom of the charnel ground. Alrighty, friends, let's go ahead and end our practice today with a dedication of merit. And today I'd like to read for you a blessing by John O'Donohue. And this is for a blessing for friends, friendship, Kalyana Mitras, soul friends. John O'Donohue was a Irish mystic, and he wrote some beautiful, beautiful things. One of his most famous books is called Anamkara, and it means soul friend. In Buddhism, we have Kalyana Mitra, which means wise friend. It is the same thing. This is a blessing for friendship, and I encourage you to close your eyes, maybe put your hands on your hearts, and celebrate the friendship that is here. Maybe even celebrate learning how to become a better friend to yourself, taking notice of the ways you treat yourself that you wouldn't anyone else. And may that be a fertile place to start practicing a little bit, just a little bit of compassion, loving kindness, joy, equanimity. A blessing for friendship. May you be blessed with good friends and learn to be a good friend to yourself, journeying to that place in your soul where there is love, warmth, and feeling. May this change you. May it transfigure what is negative, distant, or cold within your heart. May you be brought into real passion, kindness, and belonging. May you treasure your friends. May you be good to them, be there for them, and receive all the challenges, truth, and light you need. May you never be isolated, but know the embrace of your Anamkara. Thank you, friends, for being such impeccable, wise friends, soul friends. Have a wonderful afternoon. We'll see you next time. Namaste.